Tonight on Connecticut's news station, tackling violent crime in Hartford. As the city deals with a recent surge in deadly violence, there's now a new effort to create change. We have details.
And a major crackdown on ATVs illegally operating on one city's streets. But was the investigation a waste of taxpayer money? That's what some people think. We'll take a look at what's happening in Meriden.
More West Nile virus cases detected in Connecticut, and leaders are saying it's time to take steps. Where the latest positive tests are coming from and what you're being advised to do about it.
And an invasive aquatic plant's taking over the Connecticut River. Experts show us how they're getting rid of the plant that's having major ecological and economic impacts across the state.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez.
The nation's oldest civil rights organization is now on a quest to keep the people of Hartford and its leaders from growing desensitized to violence.
Meanwhile, the capital city grapples with 28 homicides so far this year, 8 in the last 2 weeks alone. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez is in Hartford's North End with a look at a new program hoping to spark change.
The booth behind me has been sparking conversation all day among community members, and it's just the start of a reoccurring dialogue during a violent summer. Gail Hunter Martin has seen North Hartford's Unity Plaza change in 78 years.
Just wake up in the morning and say, who is it this morning? Whose mother does not have a child or doesn't have a person this morning? It's every morning when I wake up, it's somebody's dead. And it wasn't always like that.
A retired teacher now shepherding her own great-grandkids in a hot spot for violence where bullets pierced the heads of 2 bystanders recently.
When this plaza was thriving, you had a grocery store, you had a drugstore. Economically, things were thriving. People had places to go.
52-year-old Corey Betts also grew up here, knowing all his neighbors.
28 murders within, and we're still in the year. That's not normal.
A once thriving plaza turned food desert, now sparking timely conversation.
Because every time I turn around, somebody gets shot, somebody always fighting.
Back in the day, when the governor had the state police out here, along with the Hartford police, I don't know, maybe they need to go back to doing that.
Wake Up Wednesdays is a new initiative by the Greater Hartford branch of the Connecticut NAACP to connect neighbors with each other and resources like job training and food pantries.
You know, in crisis is that fight, flight, or freeze, so we don't know where to start. So I said we have to start somewhere.
We'll be here from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every Wednesday.
The region's top prosecutor stopping by, calling for the community's help.
We're not going to arrest and prosecute our way out of it. It is a piece, it's a tool.
The century-old civil rights organization not limiting its efforts to Hartford's most impoverished zip codes.
We're going to be talking to the presidents of Aetna, the presidents of Travelers, the president of Cigna, all of them to come down here and meet with us. They have big tax exemption, they use state dollars, they use federal dollars to build these big pots of money.
And NAACP leaders say they intend to call on the business community to expand resources and job opportunities in the communities where they are needed. In Hartford, I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Samaya, thank you. To New Haven now, where police are investigating a second case of an intruder entering a Yale student's bedroom at his residence this summer. It happened on Sunday evening, July 23rd on Edgewood Avenue. Yale police say a student woke up to find a man in the bedroom, and then he fled after an altercation. The victim was not injured. Back in June, a Yale graduate student woke up to an intruder in an apartment in Mansfield Street in New Haven. Yale police are now urging students to lock their doors and keep their entrances well lit. An investigation is ongoing.
Developing tonight, a Waterbury murder suspect has been captured in Hartford. Joshua Morales is accused of killing a 40-year-old man from Virginia at the Bunker Social Club back on July 16th. Morales is facing several charges, including the use of a machine gun. He's being held on $3 million bond. Another arrest in Waterbury tonight. This time, 2 people are arrested. James Davis and Ronald Scott are accused of killing Makai Mazzone. It happened on Newport Drive back on August 1st. 1st. Police say the teen was shot in the chest. Police say the investigation is ongoing, but an additional arrest is expected in the case.
A Derby alderman now running for mayor has been charged in connection with the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Gino DiGiovanni Jr. was charged with entering a restricted building, disorderly conduct, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Tonight, we're learning more about how police identified him and when they did so. Fox 61's New Haven County Bureau reporter Julia LeBlanc has more from Derby.
We're learning DiGiovanni Jr. is a longtime resident of Derby and owns a nearby business. His attorney actually says he built this monument right on the city's green, and he claims his client didn't know what he was getting into that day.
I think the evidence that will be presented will show that I am innocent.
Gino DiGiovanni Jr. maintaining his innocence while walking out of a New Haven court Tuesday, all after turning himself in on federal charges related to his alleged involvement in the January 6th Capitol insurrection.
He was just a man expressing his views and his political persuasion, and he is not a criminal in any sense.
DiGiovanni grew up in Derby and owns a local construction company. Right now, he's an alderman running for mayor against Republican incumbent Mayor Richard Zekin. The primary's just 3 weeks away.
I wish him the best to get through this for him and his family. And then, you know, it's just, he'll get his day in court, and then I just want to move on with Derby.
Mayor Zekin was asked to identify DiGiovanni when the feds came to City Hall in November of last year.
They showed me a picture, and, you know, I was like, yeah, that's him.
Court documents say DiGiovanni is seen on surveillance cameras wearing his company's sweatshirt, getting past permanent barriers outside the Capitol, passing police, and heading inside.
But what it didn't show was a Capitol police officer holding the door open for him to enter.
Investigators also confirmed through geofencing that DiGiovanni's phone was inside the Capitol that day. Police say DiGiovanni told them he went alone that day, quote, with the intent of seeing President Trump's last speech while in office.
We're grateful that he's charged with only 4 misdemeanors, although any federal case is of very serious nature.
And for some, it makes the battle of who to vote for 3 weeks from now that much harder.
Misdemeanors, yeah, I mean, that don't tell his whole character. I could say that. Yeah. I don't know the full story to say that.
And the story may not be resolved in time for the election. DiGiovanni's attorney says that he has a hearing within the next 3 weeks in D.C. that will take place via Zoom, but also happening in the next 3 weeks, the primary election. We are in Derby. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, East Haven police are reminding neighbors to lock their cars to prevent overnight thefts. This video here is from the north part of East Haven, just near the North Haven town line. They're asking anyone with information or more videos of these suspects to please share it with police.
The city of Meriden has seen an uptick in street crime impacting quality of life. Some are praising the police for making key arrests, while others say it's a waste of time and taxpayer money. Fox 61's Matt Karen has more.
Well, just imagine you're on a relaxing Sunday drive here on the streets of Meriden when all of a sudden your vehicle gets enveloped by a sea of ATV and dirt bike riders who are popping wheelies, weaving in and out, and leaving you in a cloud of rubbery smoke. It's happening more often and even to the police. After a 6-week investigation, these 4 men were just arrested by Meriden police. They were among the dozens of illegal ATV and dirt bike riders who police say in June taunted and encircled a Meriden police officer who responded here to the Citgo station on South Broad Street.
Common sense says that's wrong, but, you know, we're living in a world where common sense isn't so common anymore.
But some online have mocked the police. There's been more murders, said Amy Clemens, but yeah, go get the boys on the bikes.
Those individuals that are laughing at this are very much the vocal minority.
The Citgo incident follows a similar one in May, where crowds of young people involved in a so-called street takeover jumped on the hood of a Meriden police officer's vehicle at the Lowe's Plaza.
Once again, we have repeat offenders wreaking havoc on our streets, and now we're leaving this in the hands of the court system to do the right thing and deliver justice for our community.
Those arrested charged with reckless driving and reckless endangerment, most of them under the age of 30.
I think the kids are just too privileged. They need more programs, to work programs, because these kids have no respect today. But we can't always blame the youth. We also have to blame their parents.
Juvenile crime has been on the rise and a focus at the state capitol, reforming the law to get them processed through the legal system faster and tougher penalties for car thefts. But police can only do so much.
They're outnumbered. I've been watching a lot on the news over the past, probably throughout the entire summer, and it is one of the scariest things I've seen.
And the police tell me they often have trouble identifying suspects in these types of incidents because they're usually on illegal, unregistered ATVs and are wearing masks. As for the 4 suspects who were arrested in this particular incident, they will be in court next week on August 25th. Their bonds have all been set. Reporting in Meriden, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Matt. All right, tonight we're going to want to grab the bug spray here. West Nile virus detected in yet another city here in Connecticut. Tonight, the announcement coming from the city of Waterbury. Waterbury Health Department recommending that people take some steps to protect themselves from bugs, like using insect repellent, covering up, and eliminating standing water that could be used as breeding sites. West Nile symptoms include flu-like symptoms like a fever, headache, body aches, and fatigue. 9 other different cities and towns all around Connecticut have found West Nile virus carrying mosquitoes. We have that information for you on fox61.com.
Most of Crystal Lake will stay closed to swimmers today after more tests revealed above normal levels of E. coli bacteria in the water. Officials say the increase in bacteria comes from bird waste that washed into the water during recent rainfall. More testing will be done today. In the meantime, swimmers can use the campsite of the lake.
Local lawmakers and health officials gathered today to call for action to address drug shortages. Supporters say that hospitals are having trouble getting access to chemotherapy drugs because there aren't enough to go around. Senator Richard Blumenthal's introducing a bill to address the cause of the drug shortages and to extend the shelf life of certain drugs as well.
Sadly, tragically, and unacceptably, the United States of America continues to have drug shortages in some of the most critical, necessary, and often used medicines.
A recent Senate report shows drug shortages rose by about 30% last year.